Morning everyone, it's lovely to be here this morning. Up until this point I've been on the fringes. Just after COVID I sort of stayed away. I didn't want to get a cold, I just wanted to go and get this operation over and done with. But you may remember that about 12 months ago, and as we were organising the garage sale, I ripped 2.5 tendons off my shoulder. They were ripped completely, and the ultrasound, and when it went, the doctor at the ultrasound had a look and said, yeah, definitely, and we've got the report at home that says 2.5 tendons ripped. It's a really bad one. We're going to have to go in and fix it up. So anyhow, to cut a long story short, I went in on Friday for the operation after the surgeon had checked me all out, the usual things. And when I woke up, he said there weren't any ripped tendons. He said, all I did was remove a bone spur. And he said, you don't even have to have a sling. Here's my...
Praise the Lord.
Now, I just want to thank I just want to thank everyone for their prayers, because I know that's what it's about. It's all about God. It's all about the prayers of the people. And when the surgeon came in on Friday night, he said, well, look, I haven't had to do anything. He said, lift your arm. So he lifted my arm and he said, see, I've only done that. And you're pretty right. But I said, well, what happened? What happened between you and the doctor looking at the ultrasound, saying these ripped tendons? And he was a little bit bemused, and he didn't answer, or he said, well, don't know really. And he came back the following morning and he said, I said, well, what's the story? And he said, well, it's the way we interpret the ultrasound. He said that there can be some confusion. Linda and I looked this up on the internet, and there's very little confusion about ripped tendons. They are very easily seen. So he was still bemused as he walked out the door. I know what the answer is, and I want to thank you, everyone, for your prayers, and give our praises to an amazing God. So thank you.
Yeah, God is amazing. Many years ago, I had a friend I went fishing with, and he introduced me to one of his friends, and we took him out fishing for the first time. Anyway, I ran into him in the street about 4 weeks later, and he was running around in one of these casks with you blow up, sort of a brace around his leg, and he told me he had a fractured ankle from playing soccer that wouldn't heal, and that he was going to have major surgery on his ankle. So he wore this foot thing for ages and ages, and the day before he had his surgery, I prayed with him, and he went in and they did another x-ray, and yep, sure enough, it was still a fracture there. So they took him into surgery, very similar to Ross, gave him the anaesthetic, and when they opened up his foot, they couldn't find the fracture. Even though it was there on the x-ray, they couldn't find it. And from that point on, he believed, and he became a believer, and now he's a pastor in a church down in Fielding. So, just because he used to get into trouble. We'd go to work, and he wasn't a great reader, but he enjoyed listening to Radio Rema, and also I got him the Bible on a cassette tape, because in those days you could throw a cassette tape in your car. But he used to get into trouble for being late to work. He'd leave and get to work early, but then sit in his car listening to the Bible, and then, oh, crumbs, I was supposed to be at work 5 minutes ago. But now he's a pastor. So God is amazing, and we give all the glory to God. So a very big thank you, Ross, for sharing this morning.